All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I am seeing that it is somewhere around 1 o'clock. So we will get started and we'll let some of our laggers lag in and get here. Hopefully you all got pizza and it's okay. All right. And there's always someone out in the crowd. One troublemaker. We are excited to have Credit Union West here today. We've got Maria Brunner, the Community Impact Manager, and Todd Green, the Business Services Representative, that are going to talk a lot about banking, business, credit unions, and I'm going to give a very, very brief background on them in a second before I let them come up here and take over. But before I do, I want to remind you all and share with you all that this is based on our GCC Achieve program, and the linchpin of that is our Innovation Challenge, which is this April. And we are going to have an amazing event this year. We are very fortunate to have one of our biggest sponsors or best sponsors being Credit Union West, who gave, I want to say us, but gave you all $10,000. And with that $10,000, we are going to listen to your pitches in a Shark Tank-like event, and we are going to give out first prize, second prize, third prize, and then we are also going to give out 2 honorable mention prizes where we give away $10,000 on April 8th to 5 students, their share of $10,000. And this is for you if you have a business idea, a business plan, a business you have just started and are just beginning to think of. We want to give you this money. We want to help you launch your business, grow your business. And not only that, if you are thinking, shoot, I don't have a business, so I'm not going to show up on April 8th. Come on April 8th anyways, because we are also giving away $2,500 to the fan favorite business. So we are going to ask you all who are watching to sit and listen to the finalists, and then you are going to grade them. You are going to pick, this is my favorite, and whoever that favorite may be, they're going to win $2,500 that day. Whether they come in first place or they don't come in at all, whatever that may be, they're going to win that $2,500. That is an extra prize. We are very excited about that, something new and exciting. So we are setting these days up, these opportunities up, to give you an opportunity to speak with and listen and learn from professionals who are out in the marketplace, to listen and learn from 2 people that have been involved in banking for over 17 years and 23 years, been with Credit Union West 4 and 7 years respectively, people that are touching the communities, people that are helping others grow and develop their businesses. I've been lucky enough to know Maria for, I think, almost all 4 years she's been at Credit Union West. We met early, and she's been a huge supporter of GCC. But what's amazing about what Maria does is she takes the Credit Union West mission and really lives that and dreams it. Credit Union West has gone from a single location in 1951 at Luke Air Force Base, when it was called Luke Federal Credit Union, to 12 branches now in Arizona, and they get to know you. We will talk about good banking and having relationships with your bank and how important it is. They're going to share that. And Todd, I'm new to Todd, but Todd's made an effort, and I'm going to point this out, and he may get embarrassed or mad at me, but I've got to work on my game because his socks match his shirt. I don't do that very well. He's got the Credit Union orange going on from head to toe. And that is true dedication. But business banking is new to Credit Union West, relatively speaking. And what's awesome about it is when they go into something, they go in full force. And I'm not going to steal a lot of their presentation, so I'm going to let Maria and Todd come up. And Todd, if you want to sit at that table instead, we'll give you a microphone. And Maria, this one's yours.
Thank you.
And I'm going to walk around and just make...
These questions?
Can I answer these questions? I
Yeah,
can.
just write them down, and then
Oh.
can I have that microphone?
Well, you get this one,
Yeah.
right? Okay. You want both? Oh, I got to just turn it on.
Yes, I want. Hi, everyone. My name is Maria Brunner, and I work for Credit Union West. And I've been in the banking industry over 37 years. The other day, I was at a kindergarten class, and I didn't tell them that. But you know, the first thing they asked, how old are you? It's like, oh my goodness, these kids. But before we start the presentation, what I would like to do is a little exercise. Where do I start? I'm going to start with this gentleman. So, if you can tell me your name, are you currently taking a class here, in what class? And do you have a business? Are you starting a business? And why would you start a business? How about that?
Oh, I have to remember all
Yeah.
that.
So what is
I'm Leo.
Leo? Are you taking a business?
I'm taking a business class.
Awesome.
And my business is going to be retirement.
What are you going to do with your retirement?
Keep going to school.
Yeah? Oh,
Yeah.
good. Are you starting a business?
You never
You
know.
never know? Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we go over here? Okay, thank you. Hi.
Hello, I'm Rachel. I am taking a class here, and neither, but my husband would like to start one, so yeah.
Behind the scenes.
I don't know. Maybe help him set it up, but I don't know if I do it with him.
All right, thank you. I'm going to come over here. Thank you for playing along.
Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm currently taking business communication here, and I don't have a business yet, but I eventually want to build one.
Thank you. Let's hand it over here. Come on over. Let's see. Look at her.
Hi, I'm Gina. I'm currently taking accounting, and I'm actually transitioning from another job, so I don't know what I want to do right now.
Oh, this is perfect. We'll discover together. All right. Your name, what class, and are you have a business or
My first name is Autumn, last name is Timmerman. I'm currently in GBS 223 Business Communications, and I am looking to start a business.
Thank you.
My name is William. I'm currently taking accounting here at GCC, and I don't have a business yet, but an idea I would like to start one is starting a retail clothing business.
No wonder you look all put together. Do you want to do too?
Wait, time. You're not taking my class? William. That hurts. Sorry.
Your name?
My name's Jocelyn Lopez. Yeah. And I'm currently taking GBS. And I'm thinking of starting my own business, and I'm trying to organize that.
Like what kind of business?
A baking business. Baking.
Oh, baking?
Yes. I know, I heard banking, and I'm like, baking? No, yeah.
What's your favorite thing to do?
I make desserts, so yeah, I make like even trends, like Dubai chocolate and everything. Yeah, make a lot of things. Yeah.
I think, would you like to speak or are you going to pass it on? You're good for it. All right, let's see.
Hi, I'm Jasmina. I take Professor Brent's class, GBS, the business communication class. And I'm a musician. I'm my own business. But I sing and I compose and I produce and I do all of it myself. And check out my music, everyone. Might as well. And if I ever were to start a different business, I would go for a scaling one, to scale other businesses into making more money than they are.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you. All right, now we're going to go here, second row. Your name with class and if you have a business. So if you're gonna start.
My name is David, and I take business with Professor Kleiman, and I do not have a business, but I do want to start one.
What type of business do you think you want to start?
I think an auction house would be a good business.
Auction?
Yeah.
Good. Very good. All right, here you go.
Hello, my name is Jonathan. I'm majoring in business general requirements, and I don't have a business, but I would like to start one.
My name is Chris. I'm starting in the fall for business degree. I do have a business. I install breathalyzers. For DUI? No, I don't, but I'm the guy that they call. I'm just here to get more knowledge and experience.
Thank you. All right. Next.
Hello, my name is Sasha. I am majoring in business here, so I'm doing like 4 classes. And I want to start a business one day.
What type of business?
I'm not really too sure, but I kind of really want to learn my basics and hopefully get my kids comfortable with the idea of them to starting a business one day. So do a little family business.
Family business, I love it. Here you go, sir.
Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan. I'm going for general business, and I do own a business.
What type of business?
I actually do dog grooming.
You do what?
Dog grooming. Like haircuts, baths, stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah. No.
Here you go, sir.
My name is Min. I'm majoring in business right now. I don't have a business yet, but I'm looking to start a business in the future. I think it's something related about like supply chain management or logistics something. Yeah.
Good, glad you're here. All right, here we go.
My name is Ennis, and I have 2 business courses with Brent Kleiman. And I don't have a business, but maybe I'll be interested in the near future.
Okay. Anything in mind? Just exploring? Here you go.
Hi, I'm Adam. I am not a GCC student, but I am a financial advisor, so I basically own my own business and did it because it has uncapped earning potential.
And how long have you been?
2 years? Yeah.
Hello, I'm with the University of Maryland Global Campus, and we're a proud partner of Glendale Community College. I'm a professor at at UMGC, and I also have had many businesses because military spouses, we constantly have our own. I had MLM, and I held my own stores. However, now I do consulting, so because everybody comes to me and asks me how to do business and where to go and how to do outreach. So I am throwing the idea around right now to do that in addition to what I do now.
My name's Renetta Watts. I do not go to school here either. I work with her, but with the University of Maryland.
Thank you for playing along. Hi there. What is your name and class?
My name is Gracia. I have the class with Professor Kleinman. I have no idea for a business, but hopefully I do at some point in the future.
Wonderful.
Hello, my name's Alina. I take Brent's class, and I want to own my own med spa.
Med spa?
Hello, my name is Abby. I'm in business comms, and currently I'm a fashion designer, so I'm interested in fashion and runways and all that.
Hey, my name is Israel Zulu. I'm in the general business, and I would like to open my own business. I would like to do real estate. Yes.
I'm Angelica, and I'm also in business communication, and I don't have a good idea of what I want to do as a business, but having the knowledge of how to start one is nice.
Very good. Here you go, sir.
I am Isaac. I am taking business communications right now, and I do not own my own business, but I would like to start one soon.
Anything in mind?
Clothing.
Clothing?
Clothing.
Hi, I'm James. I'm taking business communication right now, and in the near future, hopefully I start my own business. I was thinking health and wellness.
Hi, I'm John. I'm in Professor Kleiman's class as well, and I'm not sure what I want to do for my business.
Hi, I'm Samantha Cope, and I work for the City of Glendale, and I help small businesses on a day-to-day basis.
Awesome. We're going to call on you a lot. All right, you want to get started here?
Hi, my name is Cindy. I take business communications right now. I'm not sure about business, but I do hope I have one eventually.
Hi, my name is Cody, and I take Professor Kleiman's class, Business Communications, and I don't have a business right now, but I think it would be cool to open my own gym one day. That'd be nice.
Yeah, hi. I'm taking business communications too, and I'd like to start maybe a music business around there.
My name's Anthony. I have various classes, one of them being with Mr. Kleinman. I have a mobile detailing business. It's kind of small, but I'm trying to get it grow.
My name is Rosella, and I'm in business law and communications, and I don't know what I want to do for my business.
My name is Joseph, and I'm taking cybersecurity here, and I'm here to learn about the business. To start a business. No, I want to start, yes.
Any idea what?
Not yet.
Okay, well, glad you're here. All right. You're helping me here.
Ernesto, going for accounting, would like to open up my own firm one day. That's why
Thank you. Glad you're here. Well, I did hear a lot of folks that would like or are doing accounting. And, you know, we had a presenter here, I don't know if it's been 1 year, 2 years. And one of the things he was telling us is that accounting is something that there's a need. So all of the accountants out there, you're not going to have a problem getting a job finding. Someone just walked in. Huh? No, this young lady over here. So what is your name? What classes are you taking? And do you have a business?
My name is Ashanti. I'm taking accounting here with Matthew. I don't have a business, but I've been helping a business in New York City. Yes, unsolicited, I would say, but I've been helping them.
All right, thank you. So up here, we do have the class that we're going to go through, and also some little notebooks, if you'd like to have some. They're over here throughout the doors, the tables. So as entrepreneurs, I wanted to go around the room and just for you to have a moment to speak. Marlene and I will tell you that we do a lot of networking where we see a lot of small business. And the first thing for any type of business is your presentation. Have your elevator speech ready. If you are in front of other business owners, you have to introduce yourself, say the type of business, and what is it that you're looking for? What would be your best referral? So once you start your business, you really need to feel comfortable speaking in public. So if there's a public speaking class, communications, that's the best thing you can do, because as you want to grow your business, you're going to have to speak to other individuals. You're going to have to get involved in the community. You want people to see who you are, what you represent, your mission, the product that you're selling. If you're in fashion, how can they see what you have available? So it's very important for us to have our elevator speech, to be confident in who we are and what we're going to do. And Mariana and I will tell you that we have a lot of small business owners when we go to any of our Glendale Chamber different committees, and we talk about who we are, what we represent, and who's going to be the best referral. And then a lot of times it's just listening to others. I don't pitch the credit union. I don't sell products. I don't sell CDs. I don't sell any bank accounts, checking accounts. I want people to see who I am. I need to earn their trust, and then I provide a service. The way I get my foot in the door to all of these businesses is, how can I help you? Do you have 10 employees? Awesome. How are they doing at work? Are they their best when they're at work? Maybe not, because they're worried about their finances. So let me help them with financial education. So I go in there, I present what we do, financial education. Now they know how to budget. They know banking 101. They know what a check looks like, what a balance. We don't use registers anymore, but register books. But did I make a deposit? Is it going to clear everything? So we go over the basics, which I'm going to do a little bit today. But really understand that you have to make sure that you are a resource. Because a lot of times I can connect this person with that person. We do different resources. People come to me. Next time they see me at an event, they're going to come to me and say, hey, I'm looking for this. We have the City of Glendale. She's a great resource. I know her. Let me bring someone else that needs her help because she just helped me. So it's a lot of times it's not selling our product, but it's really how can be of service to our community, our members, other businesses. You can collaborate. If you're doing one, selling one product, this other person or fashion, you're probably going to need to market. So does anyone in the room have a marketing where you can buy the little swag items, like things like this that have your name, that kind of thing? You're going to need a financial advisor. Now that I'm making a little bit of money, what am I going to do with this? Making sure that I pay my taxes. So there's a lot of resource already here in this room. And the most important thing is your network. So if you're starting here in school, phone numbers, emails, stay connected. That is so important because once you're out in the community and selling, especially as an entrepreneur, you're on your own. So you need that community to make sure that you either give leads or you receive leads. You get some referrals. So that's the most important thing, I believe. So class is over. No, but that's very, very important that we stay connected, that we build a community. And then we'll go into our presentation. Here we go. Do you have a microphone? Did you need this one back? Okay. All right. So thank you for your time for that little exercise. It's also very important when we do So I'm in this committee, and a lot of times we have a presenter that walks into the room, and there's like you all. And the presenter comes in front of the classroom or the space where we're at, and they just start talking about the product, and everyone's just looking at them. Well, in order for that presenter to be more efficient in what they have to say, I start with introducing everyone that's in the room, because then he's going to be able, or she's going to be able to direct to the product, service, or resource to the correct people. So that's another thing that as you're growing into an entrepreneur, you want to bring people together. Always start with that. Just introducing, making sure who's in the room, and already have in mind, if I'm looking for a house, I know that gentleman might be a real estate agent. So when we're all done, I'm going to go straight to him and start having a conversation. Or if I'm looking, I don't really know, I don't have the orange socks, maybe I'll go to the fashion, say, hey, how can I get myself a little bit more organized? So it's important to see who's in the room and make that connection. And after you have had your networking or your speaker, then connect with those people that are in the room. So I always recommend that. So, okay, we'll go to our business presentation. Brent went over, what credit union is. We're celebrating 75 years this year. Very proud of that. We did start in Luke Air Force Base as Luke Federal Credit Union, and we changed the name to Credit Union West. We mainly have branches in the West Valley. However, we have 14 now, Brent. You mentioned 12, but we have 14. The last one we opened was in Buckeye, so we're all the way in that Costco Verado way in the 10. And then before that, we opened Lake Pleasant Parkway, and Happy Valley. Those are our two newest branches, so we're growing. We have 3 in the Yavapai area, which is Cottonwood, Prescott Valley. In the east side, we have 2, which is our Papago branch. We own Kierland and Biltmore, and kind of like the Central Phoenix. And then all our other branches are here in the West Valley. 67th and Cactus, 67th and Arrowhead, Avondale, Glendale. So please, as we go through the presentation, if you need any of our services, check us out. We have friendly, wonderful people that are ready to be of service to you. But I really appreciate that Credit Union West has our mission, and it's to inspire our members, our employees, and the communities to achieve their financial goals and enhance their quality of life. And that's, I feel, where we come in with the financial education, with the giving back to the community. I also work with small businesses, nonprofits. We do a lot of sponsorships, just like we like to partner with Glendale Community College. So those are the giving back, people helping people that Credit Union does, and that's why I'm so passionate about working for this amazing organization. And I know that a lot of times it's like, to your passion, and you're never gonna feel like you're working. That's amazing, but you do put a lot of work. And when I started a long time ago as a teller, I didn't think this was gonna be my career. I had just gotten back home, or I went home to Guadalajara. I went to college there. I have a engineering degree, chemical engineer, but when I came back, I needed to get a job, so I was a cashier, and then I went into banking. And I worked really, really hard to be a teller, new accounts, manager, you name it, I've done it. Auditor, commercial lending, financial advisor, which that was the best job ever. I really love, because you really get to know people. You ask them so many questions, but in order for you to make the right recommendations, you need to know about them and what their future goal is. If they have family, how much money do they make? Just so many questions, so it's very fulfilling to be a financial advisor. If I would start over, I would probably do the financial advising again. Really enjoyed that part. So do you all know the difference between a bank and a credit union? Anyone? It's on the chart. The biggest difference I'm going to say is we are not-for-profit. We are owned by our members. We all have a voting right, like when we changed the name. It had to go to their members. There's a certain percentage that have to vote in order for us to make that change. Now, when we're owners of the credit union, all it takes is $5 to open your membership account. Again, I'm not pitching product, but I have to explain how it works. We're not FDIC or NCUA, and I see that it's spelled, there's no I, it's just NCUA. And the biggest thing is that we are governed by our board of directors. They used to be volunteers, now we give them a small paycheck just because they go to different events that we have available, and they drive and they take their time. Most of them, don't mind, but we still want to compensate for that. The biggest thing from our board of directors is shareholders. We do not have to drive prices up when it comes to the loans, where we have to pay more or ask you to pay more on our loans, and we give you a higher return on your savings, checking, different products and services that we offer. So those, I would say, are the biggest difference when it comes to a bank and a credit union. Okay. And then in order for us to start a business, or even to open an account in many cases, you walk into a financial institution, you need to have 2 forms of ID. That's for a personal or a business. In the business, you need more documentation, but we're going to start with the consumer side. Because as a business owner, you still are an individual where you have to be in good standing in order to open an account and even go further when it comes to opening a business account or have a business loan, or for that matter, a consumer loan. So we want to start with credit. Credit, there's, and you probably all know this, but it just, I'm going to go over it briefly. We'll get into a little bit more in the next slide. But there's 3 credit bureaus: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. The lowest score is 300, and the highest is 850. If you're going to purchase, like my real estate friend, if you're going to purchase a home, sometimes you can go in the high 500s, but the average where you are going to qualify is about 620. And that's about the same for any type of loan. It is very important for us to know what our credit score is. And if we don't have credit, a lot of you are pretty young, you may not have credit, then we're going to give you information how you can obtain credit and be in good standing. But for this slide, 700 is a decent score. Anything I would say about 620 is good, but you want to make sure that you maintain that. Questions on credit before I go to the next slide, as far as what we have available for the different credit, Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian. Those are the three major bureaus. Yes, sir.
What are some ways that people? Oh, sorry. What are some ways that people can quickly build up credit?
I'm so glad you asked that. So this chart is what we follow. Okay, so you're going to see that the highest percentage is 35%, and that is going to be on your payment history. That is how you're going to build your credit back up if you didn't have. I have another slide where we'll show you how to start credit. But let's say that you already have a credit card, so any type of credit. The most important thing is to make sure that you're making your payments on time. I asked my son when he was in between jobs because he was taking a class for a financial advisor. You know, he has money, but I would always make sure don't stop making payments, even if it's the minimum. I said, if you need help, let me know. Luckily, he had a savings aside and he was taking care of that. But that's the most important thing. Make your payments on time. Even if it's your minimum, that's going to give you the highest, or help you achieve to move up to a higher score. The second one is 30%, and that's really how much you carry in a balance. For example, if you have a credit card limit of $1,000 for easy numbers, don't owe more than 30%, because that will also increase your credit score. So $1,000, 30%, $300. Now emergencies happen. Flat tires are expensive. If you have to buy tires and maybe $400, $500, $600, if it's my son's truck, I don't know how much, but they're big tires. So that's why we have a credit card. We want to make sure that we have that available, but as soon as we can, bring those balances down. And that's the same for all your credit cards. Let's say you have 5 credit cards, and all of the balances that you have available, maybe $20,000. So don't owe in all your balances more than 30%. It's not just on the individual or that single credit card, but overall. Now we may say, well, I have a mortgage. I owe more than, that 30%. That's calculated different. This is just on your credit cards, personal loans, your auto loan, another big investment that actually those two may help increase your credit score. Now, when we have a real estate agent, because we partner with a lot of real estate agents, and sometimes you may have clients that do not qualify for a house, or they qualify because they have good income, they have a good credit score, they're doing everything right, but their debt-to-income ratio has to be below 45%, and that car payment can be $600. It's always good to take a look. That's one of the things that we do. We look at the entire credit, and let's say that car payment, we can extend the payment. So now instead of paying $500 or $600, we can extend it, perhaps lower the rate, and maybe the same, sometimes even higher, but now their payment can be $300 or $400. So we just help that individual reduce their debt-to-income ratio. So now they can go and get that house payment. Now, I can go into real estate, a lot of information there. I am licensed to talk about real estate. I think I'm the only licensed representative for the credit union. But one of the things that you have to remember when it comes to real estate, especially for business, if you're applying, and Todd will have more information on that, but those are things that we have to also make sure that it's on time, that we don't overextend ourselves. With real estate, right now that insurance prices have gone up, that's another thing that you want to keep in mind when you're applying for a home, or if you already have a home, probably taxes, your property taxes, all of those things that play. So I'm giving you a lot of information. We're going to be able to talk to you on Thursdays. And Thursdays, we're going to be in building office 01, room 129, and the time is 8 to 5. We're not going to be here 8 to 5, but we will give you some times where we're going to be here, and you can make appointments, and we would be glad to go into details, because I know I'm giving you a lot of information. We're talking about credit, now I'm talking about home mortgage and all of this stuff. But it is important to just plant a little seed when it comes to credit, all of the things that will be considered for your credit score, having a good credit. If you're looking for employment as an entrepreneur, you may not worry about looking for employment because you're your own boss, but you have to make sure you have good credit to get those credit cards or those business loans, all of that. But let's say that you were going to work for, our fashion designer. She needs employees. She may do a credit check on you. She might do a background check. We talk to a lot of students from 5th grade to seniors, and we also go into employers' offices. But in the schools, we have really good conversations because we're so young, we're in 8th grade, high school, where we have to start thinking about, hey, when I start working, I'm not going to get in debt right away. Because if I want that job, we have to keep in mind that there's going to be background check. For us in the financial industry, credit is huge. For our financial advisor, credit is huge. We won't be hired if they see discrepancies, collections, or, all kinds of stuff that sometimes we see on our credit report. Same as, like I tell my son, you better not be driving when you're drinking, because then that's a DUI. That can affect his job as a financial advisor. So those are the things that we do for background check. The other thing that I tell our students in high school and elementary, but also all of you college people. So I have an opening right now to hire someone in Yavapai. But I recently hired a young lady to work in our business development position that we had. And I had 2 great candidates. They were amazing. One of them was like ready to hire because she was just very outgoing. It was really what we needed. But I'm like, let me check. I don't know where my phone is. Let me check that social media. Oh my goodness. There's a lot there that I'm like, this beautiful, amazing lady is not representing what we're about as a credit union with our mission statement and being conservative and giving back, people helping people. I'm like thinking, okay, we could have gone and deleted all of this, but she didn't. So I was able to see, thankfully, that that was not the best candidate. So we hired someone else, Stephanie. Some of you may know her, and she's amazing. So checked her LinkedIn, and she had a lot of volunteer stuff going on. So I was very fortunate to hire the right person, and she's amazing. But this is one of the things that we have to make sure as an entrepreneur. When you hire someone as a business owner, you got to check those things too. You want to make sure how are they representing themselves in the community? What are they doing to give back to the community? So these are the things, not just as a corporation, we work in the corporate world, but also, more importantly, when you're an entrepreneur. I'm talking a lot. Am I?
Not at all. I was just going to remind everyone who was in my class on Monday, y'all wrote some great questions, so feel free to raise your hands and ask those questions while Maria's talking.
Yes, please do. Yes, anytime. Stop me, because I can talk.
Go ahead first.
So what's?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
So, what are the reasons for for a low credit score? Because I heard some people, you have to pay in time, but I heard some people that even they still pay in time, their credit score is not it's not improved. So what's the main reason why?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Let me answer your question there. Before I got into the business banking department, I was in the regular consumer side of things for many years. I've looked at lots of credit reports, and I'm going to tell you, I've seen people with great credit scores, meaning like 750, come in to apply for a loan and they get declined. Why would that make any sense? Well, they have one trade line, and it's like their mom's credit card or something like that. They were an authorized user, so it really isn't their debt, but they've got a score. Or they've got a great credit score, but their debt-to-income ratio shows that they don't have enough money to make the payment. And so it's not just your score that is important. There's a lot of other factors when it comes to being approved for a loan. But to answer a little bit more of your question, usually when I see what I would call a bad credit score, which means like in the 500s or something like that, low 600s. And low 600s isn't necessarily bad, but we need to get it higher for certain things. It's because people are missing payments. And all it takes is one missed payment. I've seen people with, credit scores in the 700s, and they miss one payment on something, especially if it's like a mortgage payment or something like that. That bam, it just shows right up there, and everything stays on your credit, good and bad, for 7 years at least. Some things stay on there for 10 years. So that one missed payment is going to show us a strike for 7 years. And so don't do that. By all means, try to make your payments as best as possible. To increase your credit score, what I've seen is when people, like Maria said, pay down that credit card debt. The more available credit you have on your credit report, the better your score will go up. And that's the fastest you can get your score to go up, is to pay off credit card debt. But don't close the credit cards, because if you close the credit cards, you just closed all your available credit, and now you're back in the same spot, and it looks like everything's maxed out. So you want to look like you have some room to borrow, and that you're treating that responsibly by making your payments on time, and that will get your credit score to go up. But just remember, it'll takes a second to bring your credit score down, and it takes a little while to bring it back up.
Just like gas prices.
Yeah.
Question.
I have a more general question. What are the most important things about business banking that every single one of us here should definitely know about?
So we're not there yet.
Now or do that later?
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Too early?
Too early.
But I'm excited to answer your question.
Come back to that, yeah. Right now, we're going over the individual, because in order for you to think about that, we need to make sure that our individual credit, everything that we're doing to get to that level, but we will touch on that. Please ask that question again. Yes, sir.
I know you just said to never close your accounts, your credit accounts. I know you don't have to necessarily use the credit card if you have a credit card. How often do you recommend opening a new line of credit?
I wouldn't say there's anything about it like how often you should open something like that. It's just, what do you have, and what kind of available credit do you have? What kind of room do you have? And the more available credit you have, the more, I guess as a percentage up there, your utilization should be a certain percentage, and your available credit should be a certain percentage. The more available credit you have, the better your score will be, and the more different kind of trade lines you have, a variety, not 10 credit cards, but maybe some credit cards, a car loan, a real estate type trade line, a variety of types of trade lines will also help your credit score. And again, the number one thing, make your payments on time. Payment history, we've got, in fact, we're going to be getting into that here in just a minute. We do have what's called, any kind of a loan, but we have something called a share secured loan and a credit builder loan.
There it is.
Which are both.
That's next.
Oh, is that next? You want me to wait?
No, go ahead.
Oh,
Start.
okay. Yeah. I saw it next on the slide. So basically, at Credit Union West, what we have is called a share secured loan, and then something else called a credit builder loan. They're both share secured loans, really. The latter is actually secured by the money you're borrowing. So you get the money that you're borrowing after you pay it off, which is cool because you don't need to put down any collateral like cash to borrow the money. And what it does is it gives you an opportunity to have a positive trade line and payment history on your credit report. And I've seen people with really bad credit scores come in and they want help, something positive on their credit report. We can't get them approved for a credit card because their credit score is in the dumper. But we can approve them 99% of the time for a credit builder loan because there's no risk. We hold the money until you pay the darn loan off. And then when you get it, then you get your money. So it gives everybody a chance to build some sort of positive trade line and payment history. Payment history doesn't mean, well, I made my payments on time for 6 months. Isn't that good enough? No. If you take something like that out with the intention of helping your credit score, you need to not pay it off early. That's one of those ones you want to pay the minimum payment over the length of time to build that payment history, right? There you go.
And that's a good point. You may have a payment for $13 because it's only $500. It's 12 months. And it's annoying because I have to remember to pay it every month because I don't want to be late. So I'm just gonna pay it off within 6 months, when it's not enough time for it to show on your credit report, and it increases or gives you a credit score. So minimum you should have those type of loans is 12 months. You can extend it to 84 months, it's a bit larger, just to keep that minimum payment and making sure that you make those payments. So we talked about basic credit, making sure that if you do need some resources, we offer these, many financial institutions offer secure loans. Have a conversation with your banker if you're not banking with us, and discover to see what it is that they have to help you increase your credit. Any other questions on credit before we move? Yes, sir.
There's one back here.
Oh, yes.
Work our way.
So I've heard it depends on when you make your payments. I've heard where if you pay it off right away, it doesn't really move your credit score. Some say to pay it off before like the due date of your payment. I was just wondering if that's true, if it depends on the day you make your payments.
That's getting into some areas where it's kind of like we don't really know. It's kind of like trying to figure out the Google search algorithm. It's kind of a secret or something how things calculate it. But I think what they're getting at with that one is certain merchants, like credit cards or lenders, will report to the credit bureau certain times of the month. And if you make your payment a certain time, after they've already reported your big balance, let's say you have a $10,000 limit on your credit card, and you spend $5,000 a month on it, but you pay it off in full every month. Well, if they're reporting it to the credit bureau before you make that payment, it's going to show credit utilization of $5,000, right? So it's a game. There's lots of factors in that, but I think that's what they're getting at there. It depends on when you make your payment as to when it's going to be reported, what's going to look like on your credit report. But again, I personally, as long as it's still going to show you made that payment on time, and you're not carrying a maxed out balance all the time, you're going to be good no matter when you make your payment.
Yes, sir.
My question as far as like the credit side, I know you were talking about like when you apply for loans for like a home. As far as the business side, like if I wanted to apply for a loan to potentially buy like a building or something for my business, how does that, like applying for something like that differentiate from like a home?
Well, I think we'll wait on that until we get to our business part of our discussion, but I definitely want to answer your question when we get there.
We will. And we can go there. We can start with the
Great
business.
question.
Did you have, anyone else have a question? Okay.
I'm doing my best van of running around.
Run.
All right. So I've researched it before, but it's still not fully clear. So there's credit scores and then there's your FICO score. So a lot of things are based on your FICO and not just your credit score. And why is there a difference between your regular credit, which I think is Experian and Equifax, and then TransUnion is your FICO? Or something like that? How does that work?
Let me explain that. And that's another great question. There's a lot of confusion about that. And I wish they would really offer things like this more in school so that people coming up through high school would even know what this means. But let's start with, there's 3 major credit bureaus. You got TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Equifax is rarely used by itself. It's usually just part of the big 3 that they pull when you're applying for a mortgage. But usually for a loan or a credit card, they're pulling either TransUnion or Experian only. Now, each of those will give you a score. Those are called FICO scores. Okay, that's just another name for your credit score. Now, there's also something called a scoring model. Each credit bureau can give you a different scoring model, meaning, let's say if you pull up Credit Karma, it's going to give you TransUnion and I think Equifax. But if you're looking at the fine print, it says we're using a Vantage 3.0 scoring model, even though it's, whatever. Sometimes you'll see FICO 2.0 scoring model. It's just a type of scoring model, that's all. It's going to be a little bit of a variance. But if you ever wondered why, hey, I look at Credit Karma and TransUnion says, 700, but I go to the bank and when they pull TransUnion, they're getting 650. What's the difference? Because in our world, Credit Union West, at least, when we pull TransUnion, we're not pulling Vantage 3.0 scoring model from TransUnion. We're pulling Vantage 4.0. It's a little stricter scoring model. It's still from TransUnion. It's still your credit score. So is the other one. But it just depends on which scoring model and from which bureau is being pulled. But again, you've got FICO scoring models and you've got Vantage scoring models. Very similar. It's all the same.
Another question.
Yeah.
This is back to the loans. Would you say it's crucial to like obtain or apply for a loan as a small business? Would you say that's like crucial? Because I would like to get into more like the arts, and I don't see like, to be honest, I want to get into tattooing, and I don't see, because like you just need to get your setup, and I'm not fully, I don't know the full steps, I'm sorry, but I don't know if I need to get a loan because I don't want to take money and then not use the money. So I was asking if it's crucial.
Again, it's a good question. When we get into the business part of our discussion, we'll talk more about that. And so just remind me, and I'll make sure I answer your question, okay?
And that's even the loans and lines of credit, the difference with that
Yeah.
would probably be. Okay, last one and then we'll.
So I know that some good credit scores do get accepted, but what happens if you have a really good credit score and they just don't take it to give you a loan?
Well, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. I've seen people with great credit scores, 700 and something, almost to 800, but for whatever reason, they got declined, either because they only have one trade line, maybe one credit card, and yeah, they make their payments on time. They've only had it for 6 months, maybe a year, and that's their first thing. And so they have a decent credit score, but no history. It's the history is what's really important.
Debt to income.
Yeah. But it's credit history. I mean, how long have you been making your payments on time? 6 months? Whoop-de-doo. 2 years? Okay, now we're talking. So it's the history, not just the score.
And we also need to make sure that
important.
you're able to make the payment. So we're going to look at your income. You may have an excellent 800 FICO score, but we need to see the income.
Right. Debt to income ratio. That means here's how much you owe to how much income you have, and can you make that payment? And we got to make sure somewhere in there you have plenty to eat and pay all your other bills too. So there you go.
Also, if it's collateralized, if there's enough collateral. If not, then we're probably not going to approve that also. All right, so just wanted to point out a couple of resources before we move into the business. NCUA and also the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. This has a lot of great information on credit, calculations, on debt ratios, fraud information. That's also another thing very, very important for your credit. If you see something on your credit and, oh, that's not me, don't just leave it alone. You have to look into it, file the right documentation, get that off your credit, because especially if it's not yours. And it takes time. I had an apartment in Norwalk, California while I was working here. And obviously I didn't have an apartment in Norwalk, California. But, I had to dispute that. I had to prove that it wasn't me. If I would have left it alone, it would have just stayed on there forever. And you just want to make sure that you take a look at your credit report and make sure that there's nothing on there. So we're going to move into business. So the first thing when it comes to a business, when you're deciding what type of business am I going to open, the basic one, most common for a small business, can be sole proprietor. And a business owner is operated by one business with fully controlled personal liability for all debts and obligations. So regardless of what your business falls under, the umbrella, whether it's sole proprietor, partnership, corporation, LLC, nonprofit, we accept your documents. You decide. You talk to your accountant. Maybe you have an advisor that's going to tell you what's the best type of business that you're going to open. We don't give that information. We can tell you where to file and where to get your documentation, but those are the documents that we require. If we as an organization start telling you, oh no, you should do an LLC. Well, no, you're ready for a corporation. We can get in trouble. We cannot tell you what type of business you should file for or be under, because that's up to you and your accountant. But we're going to go ahead and give you the information. There's also partnerships when you have 2 or more people. There's corporations. Again, that goes into a lot of information, a lot of legal information. So it is important to talk to an accountant. It is important sometimes to talk to an attorney. LLC or not-for-profit. Not-for-profits, I will tell you, have to be very, very careful that you're a true not-for-profit, But those are the different type of businesses that you can be under. Have you had that discussion in your business class?
Not yet. That comes
Okay.
up after spring break.
Okay, so you'll be learning more about all of this. But those are the top of different ownerships that you can have for your business. Questions on that before we move on?
Just yell real loud before I run it.
It's a bit of a backtrack to your credit report. How often should
Yes.
you look at that?
I would say at least once a year, and you can get a free credit report once a year, but yes, definitely stay on top of that. You know, one of the things when we go to schools, 8th grade, high school, once you know your social security number, we tell the students, make sure that you don't provide it to everyone, part of the identification, being ID theft. Also co-signing, I need to make sure we talk about that. Don't be a co-signer unless you want to take on that debt. You have to be very, very careful. A lot of times children, when they apply for their first credit card, now they're 18, 19, and come to find out that it has bad credit. Well, someone took a hold of their name, their social security number, things like that. So going back to the credit, those are other things that are very important that we forgot to say. Yes, we have two. Here comes Brent. We probably should have got it.
So, the credit card.
There we go.
So, I know I have a credit card or two. I'm one of the older generations here. That they offer credit card as part of their having credit with a credit card. Are those as accurate as the?
Oh, when they have it in there, like if you click on, let's
Like
say.
I have an American Express card and they offer a credit report. Are those pretty accurate compared to what?
It's just giving you an average, not necessarily.
Again, it's the scoring model.
Right.
So what score? It's going to be accurate, but it's going to be like what Credit Karma does. They give you like say Advantage 3.0, where the bank is going to use a 4.0,
Right.
or some other, or a FICO 8.0 rather than a FICO 2.0. It just depends. It's going to be accurate,
It's a
but
good
it's
average.
Yeah,
Depending on,
it's
it's comparable to what was, okay, that's why it's not really an average.
Yeah.
It's just a different scoring model. Okay.
And for the loan, if you're applying for a loan, it's going to depend to the lender, which one they use. Yes.
All right. Do you guys recommend putting a lock on your credit for like safety means? And does that, would that affect like you having a business account later, like any ease or anything like that?
Yeah, you definitely. I think it's a good idea to do something like that and freeze your credit, because in this day and age, Marie, have we seen a little bit of fraud?
Every day.
Oh my Lord!
5,
Yeah,
10
you want to,
times a day.
and that could be a minor headache all the way to a major headache, depending on what's compromised. But yeah, if you freeze your credit, all that means is nobody can pull your credit without your permission. It's frozen. And so if somebody comes to me and says, I want to apply for a loan, and we pull the credit and they say, oh, it's frozen, doesn't mean you're declined. It means please unfreeze your credit. And then as long as it's unfrozen, you can do a temporary lift for 24 hours. I pull it, and then you freeze it back up again, and we're good. But it protects you from somebody claiming to be you, applying for a loan and pulling your credit without your authorization.
And it won't affect you coming back later and applying for a business loan or anything. It's a good thing to do nowadays.
One more question.
Yes.
Not a question, but a comment. And to add to that, you all receive, if you have a credit card of any sort, you always receive a notice that says, we're sorry, we had a breach in our company. And you're going to get free credit protection for a year. That means that someone went in and hacked. Could be you, could not be you, but whoever had something with that company, their information is probably out there. I say this all the time. I get an alert, because I do have freezes and all of that, and I get an alert and that my information is on the dark web. My old email address and something else of mine is on the dark web. I've never been there. Love to see what's there, but it's out there somewhere. So your information is easily spread. So yes, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so now we're going to go into setting up a business plan. Or setting up a business, excuse me. So, you know, some of you are thinking about having a business. A couple of you have a business already. When you think about having a business, you just want to make sure that you do your research, that it's not very common, like you don't want to do like, I don't know, Reebok with, you know, double K, because it's too similar. They can come back. If you made any money off of that, then, you know, they can request those funds. You just want to be very careful when you choose your business name. Do a lot of research. Same thing with select a business structure. What type of business are you going to open? Is it going to be an LLC? Just make sure that you do your research before you start buying your business cards, ordering your swag. You want the t-shirts, all of that. I know a very good friend of ours who's a real estate agent, and when he had his clothing line, it was very similar to another company in California. And he had to close shop because it was just going to be so much money that he had to pay if he would have stayed. So he lost all that inventory because it was just so close to the name that they told him either close or pay up. So you have to make sure that you understand those things. Also, register your business. Do we still do publications? Do they still do publications for corporations?
To get your LLC?
Mm-hmm. Or a corporation? So. Yeah, okay, because you do it in the newspaper. Oh, well, they still do that. Okay. So those are the kind of things that you want to make sure that you're taking care of. It's just so important to make sure that you understand the structure of your business, the business name. Also have a mission statement. Where we go? I think it comes back over here. Any questions on these 3 points? Choosing a business name, selecting a business structure, register your business. Before we move on to the next one real quick. So I obtained an EIN number. That's something that you need to make sure that you have. That's when you get into, am I going to be a sole proprietor, an LLC, corporation? Because if you are anything other than a sole proprietor, you will need a employee identification number.
EINs are if you plan on having employees.
Or employees.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because you could be a sole proprietor and your social security number is your tax ID number. But if you're going to have employees, even as a sole proprietor, you should get an EIN.
You just answered it.
Okay, thank you. All right, and then we have register. So state taxes. If you're going to be selling a product, that's nothing that we require when you come and open an account or you apply for a loan, but you want to make sure, because part of your tax filing, this is something that you want to make sure that you're registered. Obtaining necessary license and permits for your business, especially if you're going to be having a storefront. Someone's talking about commercial building. Those are all those things that you have to make sure. And I don't know if you want to elaborate from the city when it comes to any of these points that we're making right now, since we have an expert in the room.
I would just say in the city of Glendale, regardless if you're a home-based business or whether you're going to have a brick and mortar, that it's very important to check with the city to see what the requirements are, to make sure that your use is permitted where you're at, to make sure that you have all your proper licensing and certificate of occupancy permits and stuff like that, just to avoid any stress or headaches later on, or any financial burden of trying to move into a place that you're not allowed to because of the code. So just making sure that you do your due diligence prior to signing or getting stuck into like a lease or buying a place.
Or buying banners that you think you can put outside and then the city says, nope, you can't have, we run into that too. Such a big investment, and then they cannot display it on the corner or, or anything like that.
And the other thing that I think's big with that, talk about if you're selling stuff and you're going to go into multiple cities across Maricopa County, I mean, you've got, Phoenix has rules. Glendale's got different rules. Surprise has different rules. So if you're basing your business out of home, but you're going to sell your product in different cities, you have to look at the different cities. And I always, when I see this up on the screen or whatever, that the state calls it a transaction privilege tax. I mean, I don't know if they got a marketing person that makes you feel good. Like it's a privilege to pay my taxes to the state every month, but it's a
Look at our
horrible
city
name.
friend.
It bothers me every time I look at it, but you have to know what markets you're in when you're doing all this, especially if you're doing food, because food has a ton of different restrictions, city to city and throughout the county.
Just to kind of go off what he just said, I've been a business owner in my life, and a number of years ago, I was actually a custom knife maker. So I made my own blades in my garage. Then I went to trade shows to sell them. Well, I went out to California to a gun and knife show to sell my stuff. Found out, oh, you've got the city sales tax. That's that transaction privilege thing he was talking about. The county sales tax and state sales tax. I had to file 3 different things just for one show in one city. It was the last time I went to California to do that. So anyway, so a lot of things you don't think of as a business owner until you actually do it, and you get stuck.
I do have a question, so sorry. Traditionally, as a joke, you always do the write it as a tax write-off. When is it appropriate to write something as a tax write-off, especially when you have I know a lot of businesses have trucks, cars stapled with their entire business around them. Would that be considered something like a tax write-off?
So obviously we're not tax professionals, so we can't give that advice, but I will tell you that it needs to be legitimate. It can't be something we're just going to joke about and write off. So, but again, talk to your CPA, and there's plenty of information online, like TurboTax and stuff like that can consult you better than we should or could.
Yeah, we get into a little bit of licensing, not being an accountant, or I'm no longer a financial advisor because I don't hold my license. However, I did used to have a lot of small business owners. My ex-husband would run a lot of money through his business account, but when he would apply for a loan, he wouldn't qualify him. Good score, a lot of money, but no tax records. Like he would hire someone to get him as low as possible for all those tax write-offs, boots, cell phones, the employee, everything possible to pay less taxes. Well, he comes to the bank and he wouldn't get approved because he wasn't paying taxes. So as a financial advisor, it's so important to have those partners, your accountant, your financial advisor. A good financial advisor will tell you, you made $100,000, but we're going to put this amount into an IRA or a SEP or something, because when you come back to Todd and he approves you for a loan, he's going to approve you on that $100,000, not on this bottom number where you have all those deductions. So again, I'm not licensed, but talk to a financial advisor and they will help you put something away for your future, for your retirement. Plus, in an IRA, you can always make withdrawals for certain things without penalties, whether it's health, whether it's first-time home buyer. So there's a lot of benefits that you can utilize that for. So a good financial advisor is a good partner. I'm going to skip the business banking account. We're going to go straight to secure business insurance. And all this is evaluate and obtain appropriate insurance coverage to protect your business, assets, operations, if you have a lot of your supplies, you have inventory, you want to make sure that you protect yourself. Then if you have, of course, a building, commercial, anything like that, you always have to make sure you have insurance for that. And then I'm going to go back to set up business accounts, business banking and accounting. Establishing a separate business account from your personal is so important for the same reasons when you file taxes. So we talked about your consumer accounts, keeping that, making sure your credit's in line, all of your individual needs, but now let's separate that from your business. This is where we're going to go into a little bit more information. Let me make sure. Yeah, if you want to talk about the different business accounts that we have available, which most institutions have. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So first of all, I just want to say that I'm very excited with Credit Union West right now in our business department, because we have been working very hard this last year at least to build out our whole program. Up until maybe August, I think, of last year, we had just a basic business checking and savings account, and that was it. And so now we've got everything. From different types of business accounts, depending on what your transactions are, what your average balances are going to be, to business lending products, and even cash management tools. But at Credit Union West, we've created 3 different categories. one category is called mission, and that's only for nonprofits and like organizations and clubs, things of that nature. And it has a minimum daily balance of $500 to avoid a monthly fee, which is only $10. If you're a regular business and not a nonprofit, you can have two choices, launch or elevate. And really all that determines, to determine which one you go into is what kind of balances you're going to be carrying on the average, and what kind of transactions, how many transactions they're going to be doing per month. And you'll find that financial institutions just don't, on the business side, you can't just open up an account and have as many transactions go through there as you want. They're going to, because it actually does cost money on the financial institutions end to maintain these kinds of things. And so we have, like the launch category is going to have you maintain a minimum daily balance of at least $1,500. Again, minimum daily balance is different than average monthly balance. Minimum daily balance means it can never go below, in this case, $1,500, even for a day. Now, during the day, it could do this, but at the end of the day, when it posts your final balance for the end of the day, if it's at least $1,500, you're good. But if it dips below that, even for one day, bam, you're going to get a $10 monthly fee for that month on your next statement. Not a big deal. I mean, I could tell you that bank fees definitely are tax deductible. I know that for sure. But anyway, but then, and I don't have it in front of me, but there's going to be how many, you're going to be allowed so many paper check transactions, depositing and writing per month. Anything over that's going to be a little bit of a fee. And also cash. Like when I say cash, I mean paper money, currency, right? So if you're depositing a lot of cash every month, then, or withdrawing a lot of cash every month, then that's going to come as a cost, and there's going to be a limit you're going to have for that. I think it's $5,000 on launch. Can't remember exactly. But then we have the Elevate, which is a little bit higher. And we do have some businesses that really operate with quite a few of these types of transactions, and they carry bigger balances. So that's a better fit for them so that they don't have that monthly fee every month. So there you go.
Thank you. So separate consumer account, that's your personal account from business. It's easier to manage. You're running everything through your business, and then also for tax purposes.
Yeah, that's extremely important. If you're commingling business and personal expenses and income in the same account, and if you, God forbid, get audited by the IRS isn't going to go in there and try to figure out what's business and what's personal. They're just going to all throw it into one lump thing, and, you know, God help you on your taxes. It's bad news.
All right, we're going to move into creating a business plan. So this is where you want to make sure that I remember in school we had to like do a business plan for a make-believe business, like a restaurant. We kind of like backtrack. What's the cost that's going to be the monthly rent? How many employees am I going to have? What is my electricity? What is, all those expenses? And then we have a number, say $10,000 to run this. And then you add your payroll. Now it's up to $20,000. And I sell burritos for $5. How many burritos am I going to have to make a day, a week, a month in order for me to make sure not only do I cover that, but then I want to make some money. So that's where we start talking about completing your business plan. These are some key things to take in consideration: company description, marketing research, especially if you're going to sell ice cream. Is it going to be just in the summer? Are you going to have those seasonal times where you're not going to be making that much money? Products and services, make sure that it aligns to, where you're at, the community that you're serving. Marketing and sales strategy, you want to make sure you have some kind of knowledge with marketing. You have friends, you build a network. Stay connected. If you're part of a chamber like we are, they always have free classes here in the school. I'm sure there's also more information that we can get. And then, thank you. I'm going to run through this. Operating plan, financial plan projections, funding requests. I want to get to the next one here. Historical data. So all of this information, and you have it in your packet. I know it may be a little bit small, but you can reach out to us, and we're going to be in Building 1, Room 129, and more information to come, but we can definitely go over this information with you. Let's see, here's where the business plans, your projections, what I was referring to, making it a little bit backwards to make sure that you're making enough money to cover all of your expenses. And then again, resources. This is very, very important. If you take anything away from everything we said today, the resources is very important because this is something where you can go back. There's different scenarios. There's different questions that you may have. And this provides you the most effective information for any type of scenarios, laws, referrals, anything, accounting, financial advising. This has good information. We were talking about commercial buildings, SBA. It has all the information in there that you need. Let's see. Oh, we're almost... Okay, I didn't have to rush that much.
I just wanted to make sure you, in this slide, make sure either you're taking the papers that Maria and Todd gave you or you're taking a picture of this slide because those links are great links to have to answer lots of questions and help you move forward. Who's got questions?
All right, questions.
You got one?
And then I also want to ask Todd, when you answer about what do we look at for loans?
Right, we had a few business questions.
Yeah, we had some over here. But yes, go ahead, sir.
Do you know the average APR for, like, what's the best for a credit card? So I already have credit, and it's pretty good, but if I want to elevate my credit, like, what should I look into?
There's a lot to that question. So, APR means annual percentage rate. That means over the course of a year, what's the average interest you're being charged, right? Credit cards are going to be your highest interest rate lending product. They're unsecured debt, so they're going to want to make sure they get their money in case you default, so they're going to make you pay interest along the way. Usually anywhere between 12-15%, all the way up to 30%, like 29.9%. Now, here's the cool thing about credit cards. If you pay your balance in full every month, in other words, you're just putting your daily expenses on the thing and you get the rewards, pay it in full every month, you don't pay interest, no matter what the interest rate is. I would never advise anybody to use a credit card, especially one from certain lender that usually gives you 29%, to pay for something over time, because you're going to end up paying 3, 4, 5 times as much for whatever it is doing it that way. So use it to get rewards, pay it in full every month, and for longer term, to pay something down over time, choose a different lending product.
And just for numbers, anything between 10.99, 14 on a credit card, 16, it's good. Ours is right in the middle there, like 14 point something. So yeah, the lower the better for those.
And the higher your credit score, the lower your interest rate's going to be. That is definitely one thing that affects your what interest rate you'll get as your credit score.
Okay, we had questions earlier on business loans. How do we, who was it? Yes.
Like a home loan versus like applying for a business loan for like a building or to be able to like work out of.
Right, so you're talking about like commercial real estate? Yeah.
Before you answer, let me real quick. Anyone who's got to get out, make sure you registered so we have credit for you attendance-wise. So just scan the QR code or check in before you leave. Go ahead.
All right, so there is a big difference between consumer lending and business lending. Consumer lending, we're looking at your personal credit score along with your income statements, and can you afford to make the payment? What's your debt to income ratio? Loan to value. Are you trying to borrow more than what the thing's actually worth that you're securing it with? Business is different. So business, at least for Credit Union West, we do actually look at personal credit score, but it's one of many metrics that we're looking at. We even look at, we have a score called probability of default, called PD. And that's something that a program that we use when we take our loan applications will show us based on your industry you're in, all sorts of things, how long you've been in it, whatever. But at Credit Union West, we don't even look at your tax returns, which is good. A lot of people will look at your tax returns for a business loan. We don't. We look at a cash flow analysis based on the last 12 months of your business bank statements. which can be better than looking at your tax returns, because a lot of business owners write a bunch of stuff off. It's almost going to look like you don't make any money if you do it that way. So, but in both scenarios, commercial real estate and consumer real estate, those are both going to be backed up and secured by a building or a house, right? And so, yeah, secured loans are probably easier to get into than unsecured loans, especially if you're a startup. Something we can take if you default. Yeah. Next question.
Oh, would you say it's crucial for, I'm over here now, I was over there, now I'm over here.
I see you.
Would you say I'm going to change it up a little bit, for a sole proprietor business, would you say it's crucial for them to obtain a loan for growth? Like, would you say, yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, so you're asking for growth. I wouldn't look at it that way. And even as a sole proprietor, it doesn't matter really what kind of business you have. If you're going to have expenses, anytime you're going to have to pay for something out of pocket in lieu of getting paid for whatever you're selling or doing, I would say at bare minimums, it would be good to have a business credit card, something to help cash flow. Again, not to carry debt, but to pay it off every month, right? But something that, hey, if you're a contractor, let's say you're a painter, house painter, well, you're not going to get paid till the job's done, but yet you have to buy the paint. You maybe even if you have a couple buddies painting with you, they're going to expect to get paid. So you're going to have to buy paint, paintbrushes, materials before you even get paid for the job. That's where a business loan or a line of credit or a business credit card would come into play. As a former knife maker, I had to buy steel, handle material, pinning material. I had to buy my grinders and equipment and heat treat oven before I sold a knife, and then pay that stuff back after I sold some stuff not in California.
And did you have to pull money from your own personal?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that's why credit on the consumer side as an individual is so important, because you're going to have to fund some of this ahead of time.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of times you have to be in business for 2 years before you can even apply for a loan. But at Credit Union West,
last 12 months of your, Now, you could be a startup. That's what's cool. We do have at Credit Union West, we do have a credit card for startups. If you're in business less than 12 months, meaning we can't pull 12 months of your bank statements to do a proper cash flow analysis, if you're a startup, we can approve you. Again, that's going to be based entirely on your own personal credit score and other things, up to a limit of $5,000, even as a startup. So that's the bare bones you can get as a startup, which will help you.
And then I just wanted to point out our website, of course, but your bank, wherever you bank, look at your resources. There's a lot of information. There's also calculations, different things that you can pull from your own, and the resources that we gave you. But if you go to our website and you go into banking under business, you will find here all the information that we just went over on the different business accounts, on the loans also, and there's calculations that you can use as well. The other thing that I want to point out, if you are a small business, workplace banking we offer, if you open an account, you have direct deposit with us. For being a student at Glendale Community College, you will get $350 once you set up your account with direct deposit. And if you're already an employer and you have employees, we offer these classes, Banking 101, Credit Score, Budgeting Strategies, ID Theft, Mortgage, First-Time Home Buyers, and we also invite our financial advisors to do a class. So that's what's available to all of you. And I think we're out of time.
But
Any other
so
questions?
much information.
A lot. So we'll be in room
129,
building 1. And we'll give you the times here in the next, not the following week, but the week after that. It will be consistent when we're here to give service.
And we'll have a sign on the door. It's right in the business building on the opposite, the 01 faculty office building, right on the opposite side of that B building where you guys take the class. So you can come in, talk to someone from Credit Union West on Thursdays. They will answer questions for you, give you input, insight, advice, point you in the right direction. And Maria, Todd, thank you very much for taking a couple hours out of your Thursday afternoon.
Thank you very much. Thank you.